Welcome back as we celebrate the number one team on the Sip to Tally preseason power rankings. As you all know, it is the Baltimore Ravens. So let's dive into let me give a moment of transparency first. When I first finished this, right before school let out, like the last day of school, the Baltimore Ravens were not the number one team. But you know, different little nuggets of free agency happened after then. So every time a transaction was made before I started recording in the middle of June, I updated. And there was this one transaction that happened in a certain group in Baltimore that kind of pushed them over the edge. And you'll see at the end, that one transaction made Baltimore the number one team. If it had not been for that one transaction, we would have had a tie at the top between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions, and I still would have picked the Eagles over the Detroit Lions. But because of that transaction, percentage points put the Ravens over those two teams. So the Ravens are the number one team on the preseason Sip to Tally power rankings. So just like everybody else, let's get into who the Ravens drafted and see what they did to try to help them get over the hump this year and win the Super Bowl in 2025. First round, they picked Malachi Starks out of Georgia. Second round, they came back and got Mike Green out of Marshall, who I think was a first round talent, just had issues. Third round, Emory Jones out of LSU. Fourth round, Teddy Buchanan, the linebacker out of Cal. Fifth round, Carson Vincent, an offensive tackle out of Alabama A&M. Sixth round, Bilal Kone from Western Michigan. Sixth round, Tyler Loop, a kicker out of Arizona. Sixth round, LeJounte Webster, wide receiver out of Colorado. Another sixth rounder, Aeneas Peoples, defensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. Another sixth rounder, Robert Longerbeam, a cornerback out of Rutgers. And then in the seventh round, they picked Garrett Dillinger, the offensive guard out of LSU. Let's take a look at the depth chart and see how I have each position ranked. Starting with the quarterback room. Now, I wish I got, so just I'm gonna put these on. For this position, imagine that they are purple. Just imagine that they are purple. For this position. This is my dog. This all our dog. But ain't nothing behind him, but it's our dog. And I thought when I did this initially, before camp started and all that stuff, I thought we had a quality backup because of what he did in Dallas. And when I initially did this, I was like, we got Lamar Jackson, we got a quality backup in Cooper Rush because he won some games in Dallas. If I had done this before, since camp started, our quarterback room probably wouldn't have the ranking it has. But I did it way back when I had higher hopes for Cooper Rush. So it is what it is. Just know my thoughts on Cooper Rush now ain't the same as they was when I finished this in early June. The running back room. And Lamar Jackson is all in the bag of chips. Running back room. Derrick Henry, future Hall of Famer. Justice Hill's a solid back. Keaton Mitchell brings some speed. Rasheen Ali is, fighting for practice squad in my opinion. The wide receiver room. I see a lot of depth, a quality wide receiver room finally for Lamar. Does he have a number one guy? I don't think so, but I think he has some quality depth. I think, is Zaya number one? I don't think so. Is Bateman a number one? I don't think so. I don't think D-Hop's a number one anymore, but I do think all those guys hover around like solid number twos. Like if I had to rank those guys, I would say all three of those guys would be like a number, like what you would say like Jamar Chase is like number one, and like AJ Brown's like number one or number two. I would say Zay, Bateman, and Hopkins all would hover around like 19, 20, 21, 22 as far as receiver rankings. And I like that because there ain't no, you got quality depth. And then you got Tez Walker starting to play a little ball. Tyler Wallace, and he give you what he give you. Every opportunity he gets, he just shows up. Not to say that's a lot, but he just shows up. And barring anybody, don't get hurt, that's a quality wide receiver room. Probably the best wide receiver room Lamar's had. Tight end. Mark and Likely, Kolar. I don't think you get a better tight end room than that. And technically requires a tight end too. I don't think you get a better tight end room than that. I just don't think that you do. Offensive line. We've been battling offensive line issues for a while. Ronnie's back to he's back to as good as he can be. Voorhees is battling for a spot. Linderbaum's probably the second or third best center in the league, if not just the AFC. Falele was a Pro Bowl alternate. Rosengartner was solid in his rookie campaign. Ben Cleveland's backup. Note boom they brought in. Our offensive line is a work in progress. That's all I'll say. Let's see where I have the offense ranked, and you let me know whether you agree or disagree with the rankings I have for our offense. Quarterback, I have one. Remember, these may or may not be purple for our quarterback. I don't care. Running back, 2. Running back room, 2. Wide receiver room, 2. And the reason I have our running back room 2 is the depth across the room. The wide receiver room, not running back. The wide receiver room. The wide receiver room, the whole room. Not the quality piece, not the one or the 2. The wide receiver room, the whole room. Not the door, the wide receiver room. Remember that. Just like when we go to the tight end room. Then we go to the offensive line room. Our offensive line room is not great. It's mid, and that's why they ranked where they at. All right, let's go to the defensive side. All right, defensively, we are technically a base 3-4 team, but we be in nickel 103% of the time. Matty BK is an end. Travis Jones is nose tackle. Broderick Washington's the other end. The starting outside linebacker is Calvin Noah. The other one is Odafe Owe. And that's pretty solid. Big Za, a.k.a. Travis Jones, is a guy that I'm really fond of. Matty BK earned a big contract a couple years ago with double-digit sacks from the defensive line position. Van Noy has plateaued with sacks the past 2 years at a later age, and Odafe Owe had double-digit sacks for the first time in his career last year. And then you slide back to the linebacker position. Roquan Smith, probably, honestly, the second best linebacker in the league, has been consistent over the course of his career. Kind of fell off a little bit last year, but I think the fall off was because of him worried about the other linebacker. And now, I think Raven Nation is still kind of worried about who the other linebacker is going to be. It's scheduled to be Trent Simpson, but that's yet to be determined because he has competition coming into camp. But that second linebacker position is a reason for concern. But Rowe is Rowe, and I think Rowe's the second best linebacker in the league behind Fred. Going to the cornerback room, which I think is a real strength of the Baltimore Ravens now. You look at Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphreys, Awuzie, Alexander. You got 4 solid corners, in my opinion. You got 4 solid corners. You can rotate in and out to get you, through the dog days and when stuff get hectic with the reps and whatnot, and keep guys healthy, rotate guys in and out, and you get healthy Awuzie, healthy Jair. They can rotate and kind of keep themselves healthy. You should be good. You should be good, especially if one of your young guys maybe step up, TJ Tampa or somebody like that. You got a good rotation of guys at cornerback. You got bodies. You got solid bodies, not just any bodies like we had last year. And you go to safety room. You have who I think is the best safety in the game. That's Kyle Hamilton. You drafted Malachi Starks, and then you're looking for a third safety with some young guys to come in. Let's see where I have the defense ranked, and you let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree with the rankings of each position. Defensive line edge group, I have 6. Linebacker, I have 24, which is a far cry from when I had them ranked 1 a couple years ago with a combination of Roquan and Pat Queen. Cornerbacks, I have 5 because I love our depth. And then safety room, I have 16 because even though I like Kyle Hamilton as possibly the best safety in the game. You got a rookie back there with him, and then you got, or maybe some guys that we just don't know what you're going to get. And we don't know what you're going to get out the rookie either. So got our safety room as middle of the pack because you got one really good guy, but you don't know what you're going to get out the rest of them. So you add all those numbers together, divided by 9, and you come up with 8.22222. And remember, I said a certain transaction, which that transaction was Jair, put the Baltimore Ravens over the top. They were not at this number at first. Remember, the Eagles and the Lions were 8.44444. Adding Jair put us 2 percentage points over those two teams, and that's why the Baltimore Ravens are the number 1 team on the Sip the Talent Power Rankings for 2025. So hopefully at the end of the year in February, these power rankings prove to be right, and the Baltimore Ravens will be your Super Bowl champions. So let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree. I appreciate y'all for coming through, and I know a lot of y'all won't agree, but I know a lot of y'all will, and I'll see y'all next year where the format will change. I'm going to find a way to put more emphasis on the quarterback, and we will do more than one team a day. I think I'm going to, it's 32 teams. I'm probably going to do either 4 or 8 a day, and probably gonna do 4 a day and shorten, probably keep it around 10 minutes, but we'll figure that out next year. I appreciate y'all for coming out. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to be here with me. Another summer down. Thank you. And we got the Hall of Fame game tonight. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace and love.